Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was out in the yard today and I kept walking by this old car, and it occurred to me eventually that I had never made a comprehensive video about the results of my interior rehabilitation efforts that I went into over last winter with this car. It took me a lot longer to do that than I had planned. I think I worked on this from September or October to June, something like that. So anyway, now's the time. It's a pretty nice day today. It's not very warm, but we're in the middle of winter. So this is this 1968 Valiant. It's a Plymouth Valiant, of course, not a Dodge Valiant, not a Chrysler Valiant, not in this country. It's a Plymouth Valiant, and it's a four-door. It's a 100, and I've had this car about maybe close to 4 years now. There's videos on this stretching back, I think, into 2017 when I bought this. And when I bought this car, it didn't do anything very well, didn't run very well, didn't drive very well. It was ratty inside, ratty. So I just got it mechanically shaped up first and drove it around and enjoyed it, and then it just grated on me about this interior being so bad. So I decided last year, a little over a year ago, I was going to just go through this interior and address some problems and take care of it, and things I didn't know how to do I was going to learn to do, good or bad, right or wrong. So that's what I did. Now, a little backstory on this car. These are the same cars from 1967 through 1973, model years inclusive. You know that because I've got the vertical taillights, and then in 74 they just, instead of producing this version, this is the short wheelbase version, the 108-inch wheelbase version of the Valiant, they decided to just use the Dodge Dart body style, which is a 111-inch wheelbase. So they used the Dart style rear end on it. So 74, 5, and 6 are different style cars, a little bit longer wheelbase, but essentially they're all the same. But one thing mainly about this series of cars was they were a lot more, I guess, what I would call ornate from 67, 68, and 69. And then in 70, they changed things on them and just kind of left it alone for a few years. They kind of simplified the trim and the interior especially. So it wasn't, the later cars weren't quite as nice and fancy. And that kind of led to some things that I had to sort of improvise on, just kind of come up with what I was going to do with it. So let's get into it, and I'll tell you what I did. First thing, you may remember that I had to try to teach myself to weld with a welder. I had to put floors in this car. I actually had to do it on this truck back here too. So I did that, and I didn't do the best job, but it's a learning process. Hopefully the next ones, if there are next ones, will be a little better. Like I said, this whole project was going to be a learning, it's going to be a lesson to me. It's going to be a teaching mobile, you might say. Sorry if there's any wind noise. The wind's kind of been blowing today like crazy. It always does. So I fixed the floors on it, and I fixed the trunk, which was a lot of effort for me. For somebody that really knew how to weld very well, it wouldn't be a problem at all. But for me, let me get back over here and block this off. But for me, it was a big deal. So I fixed all that, and then I bought carpet for it, and I decided after that, how I was going to attack the interior because the seats in it were destroyed. They were, it's going to have a whole front to rear upholstery, and that's pretty expensive. I was trying to stay in the budget on this thing. I just didn't want to be spending $1,000 for interior on this car. So what I decided to do finally is I've got that gold Dart in there, so I pulled the entire interior out of it. Well, the seats and the door panels, and I used the seats as is. They were in decent shape, really good shape actually. And I took the door panels and I painted these door panels with vinyl paint, and they turned out good. I picked the color, and it looks pretty good. I painted the door frames. This is like some sort of Toyota exterior color. This is like a I don't know, desert something, I don't know, metallic. It's pretty close to what was on here. And the thing about these interiors is they standardized them more after about 1970 or so. You had just blue and black and green, and that's it. But back in this day, they had some maroons, they had blues, they had greens, they had like a off kind of a sand color like this car was. It's actually called a gold color, sort of a gold brown tan thing. And the door panels originally were gold. Can't find them anymore. They don't make them anymore. It's unobtainable. So that's why I had to do that. But they turned out good. And then the dash was another color, which was sort of a brown color. Now, originally I wasn't even going to do anything with this dash. I was going to leave it like it was. But once I got the door panels and the doors painted and the kick panels painted, I decided that I didn't like the way this looked. It looked dull. It was about the color of this steering wheel. In fact, it did match it. As a matter of fact, it was a dull brown. I thought, I just don't like that. That looks the worst of anything in here. So I pulled this dash out. It had to come out anyway because I had to get the windshield out. So I pulled the dash out. So I just stripped the dash down, got everything out of it, and repainted it. And you're not going to believe this. I just painted this with some kind of copper, some sort of, I don't know what the color was, but it was like a metallic copper brown. And it turned out, I don't want to overuse the word, but it turned out amazing. Turned out better than I'd ever hoped for. It was an excellent color choice. So I painted it. I painted the steering column. I didn't do anything with the steering wheel because you can't paint a steering wheel because it's going to flake off. So I thought, who cares? Because that's just going to show all the usages that this car's had over the last 52 years. And we're just going to leave it like that. So that's what I did. I'd already done this cluster beforehand, so there's nothing to be done with it. And I did the headliner. And this headliner, I'm going to tell you beforehand, this headliner was not easy for me to do. Never had done one, and I didn't do a perfect job on it by far. I had to teach myself how to do that. I watched videos and all that. You see back there at the back is the worst part of it. I had a real hard time with it back there because you have to get it hooked into those hooks back there along the window frame. And you have to stretch it, you have to glue it, and I'm going to tell you something. I stretched and glued and heated every which way but possible, and those wrinkles would just not come out of this thing. I'm sure they would if somebody knew what they were doing, but I didn't. So it is what it is. It looks good up here. I can live with it for the first time around. I gotta pull this thing back down. I sound kind of muffled, but I had several obstacles in here, things that didn't work very well. The headliner was one of them. The stupid window gasket was another one. Putting this in, and this is where my impatience got me, because I'd ordered this windshield gasket months before I ever even did this project, and didn't think anything about it. And I did not order the most expensive one. I think I ordered the cheapest one, but it fought me, and it's not in there very well. It's sealed up, but you see how it comes across there, and it turns up, and it comes down this way and comes back, and it's right there. Look at this deal, and there's nothing to be done about that. I hate that. I hate the way it looks. But two things happened with that. First thing, I was impatient. I wanted to get the windshield in it because I was all psyched up to put the windshield in, and I think I put this thing in with the glue already in it. I'd already got it ready to go in before I realized, trying to fit everything together, that this dumb windshield gasket was too long. It's too long this way. If I'd been patient about that and done what I should have done, I should have brought it out here. I should have trial fit it, and when it didn't fit, I should have put it right back in the package. I should have called the manufacturer, and I should have said, this thing it doesn't fit. I can show you pictures where it's about a ½ inch too wide to fit the car. I don't know why that is, but that's the way you made it. So I expect you to take it back and ship me another one that's the right dimension for this, because there is no variance in this. You have an A body that has, everything but a Duster and a Demon and a Dart Sport use this windshield, like a Skimp, like that one, and and a Valiant and a Dart sedan and a Dart swinger and a Scamp, all that. Just said that, but anyway, they all use the same exact windshield all years, 67 up. So whatever's wrong with this seal, whatever its problem was, it was is a manufacturing defect, because there's nothing wrong with the car. So anyway, I fought this thing in there, got it in, and it sealed up, and it does not leak. So that's a win. And at that point, I decided I'm done. I'm not doing anything else with it. So this is a dash cover. This is one of these. They used to be about $50. Now they're about $100. And I've got to take this. I just painted it and put it in. And they provide you with some kind of stuff that looks like silicone sealant to hold it down to the dash. And it didn't last. It didn't do any good at all. So I got to take this thing back out. This is another thing I have to do twice. Like Wes says, I watch Wes work. He says, whatever he says, we do a good job because we do it twice. Well, that's this exactly. I've done things in this car 2 and 3 times. I got to take the gas tank back out again for the 3rd time because the stupid thing's leaking again, because the seals are so bad that you buy aftermarket. Then you get about a year out of them, and then it starts leaking around the filler tubes. At least this one did. So this thing, I had to refurbish this ferrule here because a new one was very expensive. So I said, the heck with that. So I just polished it up. And these, Prairie State sent me these. I sure appreciate that. This car had just the painted versions, so I wanted the chrome ones. I thought they looked good. These are like I said, these are the door panels off the 69 Dart, and you can see they do not look like the later ones, the style of them. You got this large thing here. And I had to fix the canceling cam in here. I had to take this whole steering column apart and get that put in there, and that was another thing, didn't fit exactly right. So now it works. It's funny because I watch Old Car Alley's videos. That's Howard, and Howard and I seem like we're on a parallel tangent here, or a parallel track with some things we have to do to these old cars. He was talking about his gear shift. I had to fix this one too, because this one, it's got a spring in it like all of them do. It does not have it doesn't act like it, but it's got one big spring in there, which is in the back, in here, but in the back. You pull the thing and it springs against it, springs back, but that was busted. When I got it out, it was in 2 pieces. So he had to fix his, and I had to fix this one. So I did that. I had to repair a wire under there for the fan motor that was broken into. I didn't know about. That's really about it. Like I said, I used a lot of stuff off the Dart's interior. Oh yeah, here's another thing I learned. I learned the hard way that Dart rear seats and Valiant rear seats are not the same, because that bottom seat cushion, that's out of the Dart, all that stuff is, and it does not fit the back of the car, and does not fit down there. It moves around. It's not deep enough. Something was wrong with that. It wouldn't lock in. So if I sell this car, before I sell this car, I've got to take these cushions out and get in there and dehog ring them, and switch the upholstery and everything under it over to the frames, which I still have them in there, out of this car that fit right. I don't know how that's going to work, because these are made for this Dart cushion. I don't know. We're going to try it. I think the width is okay. What it is, the Dart body is different back here in this area. That's where the length comes, because as I said previously, this is a short wheelbase car, the 108 inch, just like a Duster. And then the Dart of all years from 67 through 76, excluding the Dart Sport 2-door, is built on the 111 inch. So, I have to think about that. I'm not sure that that's right. The Scamp, the Swinger may be built on the short one. I have to look into that, but I don't think that's right. I think that car, that Plymouth Scamp, is actually on the, I know it is. That one's built on the 111 inch wheelbase, because I've got 3 drive shafts in there, and 2 of them are the same and one's different, because one's a Valiant drive shaft and one is the Scamp and one is a Dart, and the Dart and the Scamp drive shafts match each other. How's that for some trivia? So anyway, that's where the difference is. If you come in here and look at the Dart in this area, there is a finish panel right there because the seat is inset further in. The whole shebang is like further this way towards the back of the car, and you have a visible panel going down. That's right. I remember that now. But this is fun. But would I do it again? I don't know. It was a lot of work, and it was a lot of just trying to piece things together that had no, couldn't buy the right paint. So I had to kind of come up with things, improvise a little bit, and that's not a strong suit of mine. I'm a person that kind of likes to, have the right paint code, the right paint, and all that, and just spray it and not have to kind of devise something. But anyway, it turned out good. I even painted those things and put those little things under. Those are always missing, and it didn't fit very well either. Of course, I replaced the hinge. I think I did a video sometime back last year about replacing one of those door hinges. So anyway, that's it. That's what happened. And like I said, some of this stuff is not done perfectly. I don't claim for it to be, because it just, man, I just had to teach myself some of this stuff. I'd never done any of it. So I've been kind of thinking about what the future is going to hold for this car, and I'm not getting tired of it. I like this car. I like it every time I drive it. I drive it, over the weekends and stuff. So I think I'm going to continue to drive it through the winter, and about the time that I get this dart running and back on the road, I think I'll consider putting this one up for sale. I've talked about that before, but it's just a thing in the back of my mind. But I think at some point it's probably going to have to find a new home, because I'm not somebody that likes to park stuff in the yard and just let it sit and not being driven, and I only have so much time to drive stuff. So, since I have to drive that car for work, I don't have to. I could drive one of these, but I may start doing that. Maybe on Fridays I may start driving one of these. But this thing's got to have some tires on it. That's one thing that's going on, that I haven't been driving it that much, except locally, because 0213, I know exactly when I bought these. That's 2013, and it's almost 8 years old, and they're getting kind of that. They ride rough now. When I go down the road, they're kind of, I can feel them kind of blah, 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 blah. But those are the ones, if you remember that green 74 Valiant that I bought, it had to have tires on it, and I bought them for it. And then when I got rid of that car, I switched them onto that green 73 Valiant. And then when I got that car from Phil, I switched them onto this one. So they've been on 3 different cars. So I believe what I'm going to do, I try to think ahead. Since the tires are blown out and ruined on that, don't ask me why that car's sitting on jack stands right now. There's a good reason for it. Because the wheels are over there. I got to use those wheels on my car trailer I'm going to get. But anyway, so since those are all blown out, I think I'm going to pull the wheels and tires off of that one and go have new ones mounted on those, and I'm going to swap these onto that car, so they'll have some wheels to roll them on that are up. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this little tour here. I'm sorry that I had not done this earlier. I kept thinking about doing it, and I got busy doing other stuff, and I just didn't think about it. So anyway, we'll see what goes on with this old car. It's been a good one. It's been running good. No problems with it. It's been a great learning experience. So maybe when I do this stuff, I've got to do some windshields and some painting and stuff like that on a couple more. And I learned from this one what not to do or what to do on the other ones, hopefully. So maybe the results will be a little bit better. So anyway, if nothing else, this just shows you that even if you don't know how to do something, don't be scared to learn, because you'll either, the way I look at it is you'll either do it passably well or you'll F it up. And if you F it up, you just redo it till you got it right. That's all you do. It's better to try than not to try. So, all right, hope everybody's staying safe, staying warm, and having a good one. So we'll see you on the next one.